the coaching community in Belgium, then it's certainly 50-50, French-speaking and Dutch-speaking. So the question I have is, how does it come that we don't have so much Dutch-speaking coaches as a member of ICF Belgium, whereas they are a member of ICF Global? And why? I know why, but I'm looking to find some ways to get more Dutch-speaking coaches in our member list. And I would like to take these 20 minutes with you to guide me through the thinking process, and maybe I would like, I don't know, a couple of actions at the end of, 1 or 2 actions at the end of our 20 minutes to start off going in that direction.
Okay, fine. Just I want to be sure that if I understood correctly. Yeah, so the situation is like in your organization, you are having not kind of in organization, but in a way in coaching, for coaches in Belgium, you have Dutch and French speaking coaches. And for you as a president of organization, it is you are looking for some kind of action plans, like 1-2 actions to make this situation like the same that it is outside, like 50-50, to make as much as 50-50 in your organization about coaches.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Good. So we have a little bit less than 20 minutes, and I just love that you mentioned about in this thinking process. So this thinking process, I guess, it is not the first thing that you thought about this situation.
It's not the first time, no.
And where did you stop? In which situation you stopped and you said, okay, I just don't know what are the other steps?
Well, it's a little bit, I guess, chicken and egg situation. When we do in our community in Belgium, we do like 10 coach evenings a year, so that's almost every month, except the summer holidays. And during the coaching evenings, we invite a speaker who gives a presentation on a coach-related subject. Mostly it's in French, and we have done so. And then Dutch-speaking people are not so motivated to come. Although they do understand, I guess, French, but so, and we have done like a couple of Flemish speaking. We had some Flemish speaking speakers last year, and this year, I believe, so far we had the 2. And then the number of people that are coming to our event is only like 10 or something like that, 10, 12. Whereas when it is in French, then we have like 30. So what I mean with the chicken and egg is that if we would push more for Dutch-speaking presentations, for instance, and make more publicity to get more Dutch-speaking people, and we will not have French-speaking people.
Okay, I see.
So, because in general, in Belgium, the French-speaking people are less polyglot than the Dutch-speaking people. So the Dutch-speaking people, they are easier to understand English and French, for instance. French-speaking people are more unilingual,
Yeah.
So that's my problem. If I push for the Dutch-speaking events, then the French would not be coming. If I push for and if I don't do anything, so the French will going on, and we will have in general, I think we have 5 or less than 5 Dutch-speaking people attending also the French-speaking sessions. And it's a bit, as I understood if I talk to people, it's a bit like the Dutch-speaking people see it, that they are not so very welcome in the French-speaking culture of this ICF Belgium. And myself, I am Dutch-speaking, so I am the first Dutch-speaking president since 2006.
Okay.
So, and I was hoping that having already a Flemish or Dutch-speaking president would give more. How shall I say? Would give more welcome to the Dutch-speaking people as well.
Yeah, the situation is really interesting.
Yes, it is.
This is what I wanted to ask you about your side. So you're representing this, in this case, the little part of Dutch-speaking culture.
Yes.
Yeah. But on the other hand, you mentioned in the very beginning that in Belgium there are coaches like 50-50. You have those, but not all of them are the members of ICF Belgium, as I understood.
No, I think we have around, I think 300 or close to 400 ICF members, global.
Yeah.
And we are, 150 of them are ICF Belgian members.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. I'm just curious, wondering, the situation like this was always like, who was the first, like egg or a chicken, like Dutch-speaking coaches and French-speaking coaches? Some, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even more.
Yeah. What is your question?
Is the situation, as you mentioned, a kind of a situation like there are too little of Dutch-speaking coaches comparing with French-speaking coaches? Is the situation the same all the time, or you are facing it just right now, this year?
No, it has been all the time. And I must admit, and I'm happy for that there are a little bit more Dutch-speaking people joining in, but it doesn't go fast enough to my feeling. Maybe I don't have enough patience. That's also a possibility.
Okay.
But there is, in the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, so in the Flanders, there's also a guy who has his own coaching community, and it's called Your Coach. He has his own website, and he has also kind of membership within his website and his own community, and he creates coaching cafes, as we call it, also, where they do a little bit the same. But I heard that I've not yet been there. Maybe I should go there. That's maybe that would be a possibility. So the presence of coaches going to the coaching cafes in the Dutch-speaking part is lower. Is always around 10 or something like that. So I think that could be one action that I would participate in, let's say, the competition.
Okay.
Go and look for the competition, because I don't consider, he is kind of competitor, but I don't consider him as a real competitor, because we both of us, we are on speaking terms. I even follow a class with him.
Okay.
an NLP class. So maybe we should talk to him or go to his coach cafes and do some more publicity around ICF Belgium. Maybe I have to discuss that with him. And,
I'm just wondering, in which language he is, Dutch speaking or French speaking?
Who?
This person who runs coaching cafe.
Dutch speaking.
Dutch speaking, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, for me, just appeared when you said your kind of small action plan, just to talk with him, to visit him, to go to this coaching cafe. When you mention about competitors, for me it's like a small appearance. Like in that case, you are not a competitor, but in that case, you may be a partner together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a good approach to come in or to. I think, yeah, maybe I have to. I think you're right. I have to reconsider my thinking about this and not look at them as a competitor, but think of them as a partner. Yeah, that would influence my behavior towards him and his organization as well. I'm going to write this down.
Mm-hmm.
So look at this as a partner in your coach. Yeah, and start just to start a discussion with him. Yeah, that would be. I think that's. I thank you for that because that's a good point. I have to change my thinking about this. Look at it as competitors, but as a partner. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, John, I just want to share that how come this happened. All the time, like till now, we were just talking about two sides, like 50-50, you know, like 50 Dutch-speaking coaches, 50 French-speaking coaches. You are talking about those who are coming like as speakers to your events, and then French-speaking are coming more than Dutch-speaking. And now, when you mention about a competitor, and first you mention about egg and the chicken, for me it's like appeared like competitor. So in other side, it's a partner. So that's why I just want to share about this situation and to think how come it could be useful for you. And on the other hand, you are mentioning about you have no patience, maybe to see the results soon. So it could be helpful for you also, like in making more results sooner. And your patient would be like in a better situation in this case. Yeah, because it's really important stuff for you, because, as I see when you are talking about this like a president of ICF Belgium.
Yeah, it is important to me, yes, because that was my goal when I took the decision to take the job of president.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm an introverted person. I'm not really an extroverted, typical presidential type of personality.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I said, okay, I want to do that, but then my mission will be increase the number of Dutch-speaking members and make it a real Belgian community. Make it a real Belgian community.
Okay.
You know, before I joined, at the moment when I joined ICF Belgium, there were in fact kind of two parts. There was Dutch-speaking antenna, as we called it, you know, a satellite.
Yeah.
Satellite of the chapter. But it was it didn't give a good feeling because it gave the feeling of not having one family. It was two families, you know. And then we decided we stop the Dutch-speaking antenna and we make it one ICF Belgium. But then the number of coaches who were part of the antenna disappeared. A number of them, they came then to the Belgian side or the Belgian chapter. So so if I can really have it more Belgian-like and not French-speaking, then I would feel successful in my role as a president. And there is a long way to go. But I think I have at least what I learned here, Povilas, and I thank you for that, is to make me aware that I have to change my thinking. And it is partner, and I'm going to write that down, vice versa, competitor. Yeah.
Wonderful. Just I want to mention that in the very end, you answered me the question that I wanted to ask. It's about your why you are in the role of president of ICF Belgium, and now I see that it is for you. It's really important about your you as an introvert and having this kind of goal. And this real why, it's really big, and all what you just realized just in these short 20 minutes, from my perspective, it leads like to something bigger, and it will be more helpful for you as a person, and for you as a president of this organization. So in one hand, it's good for you. On the other hand, it's good for your community that you are starting to build right now, some kind of from the new point. And if it is like everywhere, what you mentioned about partnership, it is like the next level. So I'm very happy that you realize these kind of things, and from these small stories like who is the first egg or the chicken, 50 days, 50 days or so. I really enjoyed this time for you, so hopefully it is helpful for you also.
Absolutely. Well, thank you a lot, Povilas. I'm glad that I brought it up because I was in the beginning I was thinking, what should I talk about, and then I thought, why not something that keeps me busy all the time already. So thank you very much. It was very helpful for me. Thank you.
Thank you also too. Okay, so that moment we can finish. Yeah. This one is here. Good.
Okay. Right on time. Actually, a minute early.
Okay. With these 2 minutes.
So I think we start the feedback process by checking in with Johan, and asking you, Johan, what was this like for you? What part of the coaching? First, let's start with what worked. What worked for you? What was helpful?
What worked for me was certainly in the beginning when Povilas kind of repeated almost wordily what I said what I wanted to achieve. I think, and because hearing that said again by someone else makes you think about it a little bit differently.
Okay. So he did a good job of summarizing your issues, and he was accurate.
Yes. Yeah.
he heard you with good accuracy, and he showed you that he heard you with good accuracy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And the second thing that helped me a lot was when he was using so the word partner, bringing up the picture of partnership. And then that made me switch my thinking about the issue. And then I saw, and I see now much more opportunity. And when I look at it as competitors.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
And then I think, well, the whole session was a good, was warm. I had a warm feeling that I was listened to, and it was a good connection, I would say. Yeah, I felt a good connection from Forvilas. Thank you for that, Forvilas. And that helps a lot. So.
Your coaching connection was better than your internet connection.
I would say it was reasonably well now. Eh? As long as you are out of the picture, Jason.
That's the key, right? Just get me out of here and everything works. That's usually the case. Anything else that Povilas could have done differently that might have helped, might have made a difference?
I'm thinking. I don't find anything immediately. For me, it was okay. It was good.
Okay.
Maybe I'll think of some later, but not for the moment.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me think. Okay, so I think now we go back to Povilas, and now you get to evaluate yourself.
Okay, I'm just writing some notes.
Okay. And I did record it, although I started about a minute late. I remembered a minute late to record it, but I got everything but like the very first question. So you'll get to see you can see it and review it, and then you get to evaluate yourself again.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. I would like to see it once again. Yeah. Good. So I just want to be sure about the questions. The same that you asked, Johan, like what worked and what could be in the better way?
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective.
Yeah. What first? Yeah. Start by saying what do you think? What do you think went well? What do you think you did that was effective?
So what was good from my side, from my point of view, it is like I could mention the connection between a coach and a client, and the client who is taking the issue that is real in this day for himself, and he could describe with real feelings. So when you are seeing that it is important for him as in this moment. So I don't know from how to express, but I guess that from my side is like I am automatically more connected with him because he's talking kind of deeper from the very beginning, because he don't need to imagine anything, and the issue is real right now. So you just need to what I was doing, I was just looking for things that are continuously repeating, and this what came up to me, like just to a little bit to provoke him, like if he's saying one thing, so I will say another thing. So this was the point that I switched to the partner when I heard the competitor. And I guess that I will not be able to do this if client wouldn't mention about to go for him, to go to meet him, and to talk about about something because it wasn't he wasn't doing this before. So in that case, I just was thinking about to provoke a little bit and to switch the point of view like competitor. And if you are going, just don't go to competitor. Maybe you should go to your partner. And this for me was like good on time, like it was on time.
Mm-hmm.
So this I wanted to share.
Your timing. So your timing for introducing that change in thinking was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was at the right time. Okay. Yeah. But what else? Anything else that you think went especially well?
I would mention these two situations, like the real issue and the client who is speaking deeply from his side because it is really important, and it is not just the daily problem of the organization from the organization problem list, but it is the organization problem and his own goal to go deeper in this situation. So I just really enjoy it, and I'm thankful for the client that he is taking this kind of problem, so not like imagining something. This timing that I already mentioned, and this provocation, I would like to call it like provocation, that I think it was good enough in the situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything that you would do differently?
Only just now this thought was coming up when I mentioned about provocation. I'm thinking maybe it would work like without mentioning the word partner. But switching to mentioning the partner, but switching to like to whom, who you like changing the question, like you are going to him, like to whom, and you will talk about what. So maybe in that case could be the same result came up, like, oh, I would go to him like to the partner, and we'll talk about things that are important for us, like collaboration stuff and so on and so on. So at first I was thinking about to provoke a little bit. Now I am thinking that I would ask a little bit like differently without mentioning this.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm understanding you accurately, it sounds like the way that you introduced this idea of partner, it came through direct communication.
Mm-hmm.
You made a distinction. You made a distinction between competitor and partner, and that was like direct communication. That was it was feedback, and what you're saying now is that if I had introduced it at the stage of powerful questioning, if I had found a way to ask to frame that as a question that would lead Johan to the same idea,
Mm-hmm.
Rather than introducing it through direct communication, that somehow that would be more powerful. Is that
Yeah. Right now I'm just thinking about this one.
Yeah.
I must admit that at that time when you spoke about partnership, in fraction of a second, I thought Povilas is proposing a solution. But then as it came as a question, you see, as it came as a question, then I thought, no, it's okay, let me go that direction, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How would you evaluate yourself on the core competencies that you had that you wanted to focus on, the coaching agreement and the powerful questioning? How would you rate yourself in those areas?
It's always hard to evaluate yourself.
And yet you still have to do it.
Yeah. I think that anyway, situation about of competency of making the agreement, it's better from this area, because I am thinking not to propose this word like of partner and change it into questioning. So I will evaluate the first part of of these two, like questioning and agreement. So agreement would be like up to 7, 8 maybe from 10, and I will take a little bit less for questioning, because in the beginning, I guess questioning part was not so bad, but later on we came up with some of just a little bit direct stuff. So I would take like 5, 6 maybe.
Okay. So you gave yourself number ratings. Okay. I guess maybe I think I need to ask that question more clearly myself. When I said how would you evaluate yourself, I wasn't thinking in terms of number ratings. I was thinking how closely did you did you stick to the core competencies? How clearly did you complete those the steps that are covered within those competencies, or not? How was like what did you do? What did you do to actually create the coaching agreement?
Yeah, about the coaching agreement, I'm thinking about it's maybe it's this like when I'm re-asking like word by word, repeatingly what client said. I guess that this makes a little bit bigger awareness, like in the scale, when the client hears the same stuff from another person with whom he will work like for this coaching session. And I'm just remembering about the importance, how much important is this question for you in that moment. So so this also gives a little bit more, like a little bit harder to understand that this is real, this is important, and I will work on this, and I have a goal. Just I have 1, 2 action steps to make, and I'm ready to do this.
I'm hearing Damien and Lita in my head right now. And I'm imagining how either of them might have, how they might have delivered the coaching agreement. And the coaching agreement is not just one. It's not just one statement, right? It's a process leading up to a statement. So I think passively, informally, there was agreement. Right? There was agreement about what you were going to talk about. What I didn't hear was the formal agreement, where you come out and say, okay, Johan, so let me see if I understand. Tell me if I got this right. It's what you want to talk about today is how you're going to get more Dutch-speaking coaches involved in ICF Belgium, and you're wanting to come up with, you're wanting some help with, getting through the thinking process, and you're possibly wanting to come up with a couple of action steps to, at the end that will help you start working toward that goal? Did I get that right? So that's my understanding of a formal coaching agreement, where you you clearly summarize what the client wants, is going to work on during the 20 minutes, and you make sure that there is agreement there before you move forward.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think the agreement there was it was there informally. It just wasn't there formally. So if you wanted to raise the level, then you would just add the formal agreement on top of what was already there informally.
Okay.
Now, as far as you did ask a really interesting question. I'm trying to remember how you phrased it. I tried to write it down, but I couldn't keep up, so I only got a part of it. But you asked, when Johan was saying that this has been an issue for a while, and he's worked on it, but he keeps coming back to it or something. It keeps coming back up, and you asked a question like, at what point did you stop working on this, or at what point did you stop working on this or thinking about this? Like it was an interesting question. I think that got Johan engaged in his process, in how he's, like that was a different way of asking him, why is this important to you?
Okay.
What makes this issue significant? Why, what makes it worth, getting coached on?
Oh, thank you. Okay, thanks.
So it was a different way of getting to that, but that question really that's what opened Johan up a little bit. That's when you started talking about the chicken and the egg, the upside of bringing in more Dutch speakers at the risk of reducing the number of French speakers. Let's see. Yeah, you did a lot of exploration, about sort of the history of this problem. You did, and then you started clarifying, then you started summarizing, and that's where you got to the direct feedback about making the distinction from competitor to partner, and that's the beauty of coaching. That's where, like sometimes one question or one piece of direct communication just, it leads to a whole new awareness, a whole different kind of thinking. And that's the part that really worked. There were a couple of other things that you brought up in the session, Johan, which, would have been great to explore more if there were time. I don't think there was a lot of time to explore it, but there was a couple of things you said. The first part you mentioned was that you where is it here? You said, hang on, I'll find it. Oh yeah, you said, I'm making slow progress with this. I'm slowly getting more Dutch-speaking coaches, but maybe I just don't have
patience.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah. I don't have enough patience. That would have been that might have been interesting to explore. So if you had enough patience, what would that look like? And what's more important, having patience or getting to that goal quickly? Is patience is being impatient supporting your goal or getting in the way of your goal? And then at the end, also, I thought you brought up some really interesting points about how this isn't just about, on the surface. This is about numbers. It's about bringing in more Dutch-speaking coaches. But the bigger issue is that you want to have a unified chapter. You want to have a unified ICF Belgium, rather than two communities that kind of compete with each other and just operate independently of each other.
Yeah.
And I like the way that you framed that, Pavilas, where you said, you answered my question already, or you answered a question I was going to ask you, which is, what is your why? You know, your why, your fundamental motivation for being president of ICF Belgium is to have a unified community. So you actually got to something, you know, pretty significant there.
Mm.
It would have been great to have more time so that, you know, so
Mm.
that you could explore that even more, but there was no time. But those are, so you got to those issues, and I think that's the hardest thing about this, you know, this triad process and these, you know, these mock sessions. They're so short that
Yeah.
you can sometimes you can identify a deeper issue, but then you have no time to really do much with it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're lucky enough to find it early and found it at the very end. So the other piece of feedback that I had is that I think that, and I have to keep reminding myself of this, you know, this is challenging for both of you because you're both working in a language that is not your native language. You know, you're doing this in English, and so and you both have different first languages,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that definitely raises the challenge level of trying to put all of these pieces together, right? All of these core competencies, you know, listening, taking in information, you know, being accurate, and by the way, actually understanding the language as the other person is speaking it, because it's not your first language. That's a very high challenge level. So I think it you know, so considering, you know, when I consider that, you know, when I consider the language difference, it's even better. You know, it adds, you know, I think it speaks even more highly of what you accomplished. Because, yeah, I mean, I speak, you know, my second language is Spanish. And I haven't, I've done therapy in Spanish. I haven't done coaching in Spanish, but I think it would be hard. And I think, you know, it definitely would be, you know, it would take a lot more concentration. It would just be more challenging to be as effective.
Yeah.
And
the challenge is also to try to think in the other language. So if we coach in English, then if you can think in English, then it goes a little bit more fluent, but it's not easy to think in another language.
Yeah, it's always this kind of situation, like there are several kind of words or phrases or that you already know. It's like your competence just to know, but there are something that you need to think what he said, and you need to think what you will say to him.
Yeah.
So in this is not automatically. So yeah, but anyway, it's our challenge. So we just switched on this kind of program. So it's not the helping hand for us, but we are challenging in this also.
Pavilas, you reminded me of one more thing. Just one other piece of feedback that's very, I will call it cosmetic feedback. So when you're listening to Johan and sometimes when you're speaking also, I think your hand gestures are usually very effective. You use a lot of hand gestures, and you use certain. I think they call them evaluative gestures, like when you go like this or like that or like this. Like those are evaluation gestures, and those are, you know, I'm told that those are encouraged. The one gesture I saw you do, which I'm not sure about, I'm not sure how it works in different cultures, is where you go like this. You go like this or like that. It's like, or maybe it's like this. So it's like you're thinking, right?
Yeah. I don't understand.
What's that?
Or I don't understand.
I don't understand. Right. Like I, you know, so some people might take this as I'm thinking. Other people might take this as you're in pain.
Or he doesn't know.
Or like, you know, yeah, like you're rubbing your head because you're confused or in pain or uncomfortable. And so again, I don't, you know, I just don't have, I don't know enough cross culturally to decode that, you know, what that means in every culture, but you know, from what I've read, from what I've heard, there, you know, the evaluative gestures are helpful, and the hand gestures are helpful too. But I think like touching the head is, I've heard that described as a pacifying gesture. Like if you're touching your head or the back of your head, or if you're squinting, or if you're like or if you're like covering your mouth, or if your shoulders rise up like this so your neck goes away, those are called pacifying gestures. They're things that you do to make yourself feel better, but when other people see it, they lose confidence in you, or you lose influence over them. So basically, all the hand gestures are good. Just be careful of the touching of the forehead, depending on who you're with. Unless you know that one is good with you know, with the culture of the person you're working with. Otherwise, yeah.
Okay. Good point. I didn't.
Good one. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just don't know how to evaluate, because I don't remember if I did this or this. I just happened.
That's your heart. Your heart.
Heart's a good one. You can't always see that one over the webcam, but yeah. So I think, you know, they're all good, but I try to stay below the forehead, basically. That's my
good
rule.
point. Good point. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Good. Thank you, Jess.
So I think that's have we covered it? Is that?
I think so. Yeah. Now I have a question. Now, do we have to write down our learnings now and send it to Leda and Damien on these things, or what do we have to do? Because I did one email that I sent to Leda and Damien on the learnings of, I think, the last session, and Leda said that it was not